I couldn't be a good mom if I wasn't taking care of myself. And it's not selfish. I had a long time struggle with being selfish and taking time for myself. I date myself once a week. I tell my boys I'm going out. I'm going out to have a coffee. I'm going out for a walk, or I'm going to have a drink, or I'm going to go to the spa, or whatever. Like I need to be able to take that time for me so I can recharge and then be a better, friend and mother and boss.
Welcome to our show. Good morning, guys. I'm Jenny Woon with In the House Podcast, and we have here my co-host.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, Tony. How are you feeling?
I'm okay. I apologize for my voice. I'm zooming in.
No worries. Well, we also have a special guest on Zoom as well, Cheryl Funston. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I've had a few cups of coffee, so I'm a little bit jittery.
That's okay. We love the energy. You can do what you want and you can like bounce up and down on the show. So not to worry, but
That's all.
you're the CEO and founder of Framework Retreats. And so we wanted to bring you on because we're a part of this big event that you're holding in February. But before we get into that, we always asked our guests a question. And the first question is, what is your spirit animal?
Ooh, I kind of like that.
It's our
Um,
icebreaker.
I would have to say a lion.
Hey, that's mine.
Is it?
Yeah,
We have more in common, Tony, than I think, actually.
we do.
Tony
Yeah.
just needs one more kid, and then you guys will
Yeah.
Okay,
be on the same
Jenny,
page.
you're cut off. No
Yeah.
jokes about that.
No, I 100% a lion.
Yeah, what are some of
Yeah.
the characteristics of a lion that are similar to you?
I would say strong, fierce, protector. Kind of like the lion kind of wants to like run the show, but also wants to take care of everybody else too. That they kind of like set that dominance, that presence of like, I'm here, don't mess with me. And so, not that I'm trying to sound all like tough, tough or anything, but I think when you are starting your own business, and even with me being a single mom of 3 boys, you have to have a little bit of that lion in you. So
Mm,
I would say that's definitely my spirit animal.
nice. Before we get into Framework
Awesome.
Retreats, let's
Mm.
tell our listeners who you are, what you do, and explore more of that lion side of you.
Yeah, actually, this is interesting because it's my first time I've ever done a podcast. So I'm usually the behind the scenes. I work for the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver. So even working in the events industry, I've always been behind the scenes, like doing all the logistics and running the shows. So this is a very interesting and new experience for me.
Mhm.
But yeah, I've been working for the board for a few years now, and before that, I did have a couple businesses on the side. I went to school for interior design. I've done business administration. And so kind of fast forward, I'm a single mom and I have 3 boys and I support all 3 of them. So my oldest son is 21, my middle son's 18, and my youngest is 12. And I think in order to kind of, raise children, run a successful company, and also do something that you're passionate about, you kind of have to have that like that lion instinct inside you, that there's no way, around about it. You just got to be fierce and push forward and work hard and just yeah, boots to the ground and show and set an example. So I guess that's kind of what my motto has been, is ever since my boys were little, I wanted them to see a woman who, can do her own thing. And I'm not against obviously men at all. But just being able to show, my boys and other women too, that they can do it themselves with the support of those around them, and be able to show my boys that a good work ethic goes a long way. And so that's a little bit about my lioness, I guess you could say, inside me. But yeah, I'm from Newfoundland. I grew up in Newfoundland and Alberta. I have three brothers, and I'm the oldest of three. And so yeah, I'm a Newfie Irish. So sometimes it's a deadly combination because I've got that feistiness in me, but I also have that warm, hospitable inside as well because I want to just take care of everybody too. So there's a good balance.
There's no accent though. I don't hear an accent.
Oh, if I have a couple drinks, you'll see
It
it.
comes out. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Actually,
mhm.
a couple of my words. If you listen carefully, some of my words, like I say, bar.
Yeah, there I heard
There you
it. I
go.
heard
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It comes out. When I get feisty, it comes out.
We're gonna have to get some drinks in you.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
you also find time though among your busy schedule to volunteer, right? It's a volunteer position, I believe, with
Yes.
Mamas for Mamas in
Yeah.
Vancouver. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Absolutely. Mamas for Mamas is something I'm very passionate about. I started working with them as their event planner. About 3 years ago, they came to me, and ended up meeting over Instagram. But when I was learning more and more about them, I was a single mom at the very beginning, and I ended up just to kind of touch on it very briefly. But I was a single mom before I had, well, a single mom living on the street. I remember there was times when I was living in my Jeep in the middle of Lansdowne parking lot, pregnant and not really knowing where I was going to get food or clothing or anything like that. And I was working a job, but no one knew what was happening kind of behind the scenes. I had no money. So when I found out more about Mamas for Mamas and their need, I just felt like that's where my heart was, is that I wanted to be able to show other women that they can succeed, and that there is women out there that want to help them, and they have a love and a passion for them. And so yeah, I can't say enough about it. The women, Shannon, who's a founder, is absolutely fantastic. She's just grown this whole organization and just reaching so many women and their families. So, yeah, I mean, I could have a whole hour just on the Mamas for Mamas and what they do for our community. So I'm super passionate about that, and I've been very blessed to be able to be a part of it. And I've helped their grand opening. We just did a fundraiser in the summer. So yeah, it's definitely a passion of mine.
We
Yeah,
connected over that before. It's so good.
yeah, yeah, we have. So, yeah,
Tony, you've been to an event for Mamas for Mamas?
We were going to
yeah,
meet to talk about it further, but do you remember you had traveled back, was it from the States, and you were in quarantine?
yes.
Do you remember? Yeah.
Unfortunately, well, I mean, it was nice to get away, but unfortunately, the whole quarantine thing kind of put a damper in us meeting up. But we will definitely do it. 2022 is on my vision board. So there you go.
So you being like a coordinator, planner, like really detail oriented go-getter, is this something that you naturally had in you before you had your three kids, or did you have to put yourself together because you had the three kids and they depended on you?
Yeah, it's interesting because when I was younger, no, this I was not a planner. That's a whole different segment too. Like yeah, I couldn't put, two words together basically. I was so disorganized. I was leaving, papers at home from school and all that sort of thing. So, when I got pregnant with my oldest, it really kind of shaped my path. And I remember my dad saying like, "Oh dear, feel sorry for this child." But it was one of those things because I was completely different. I was young and really had no sense of organization or, really what the world was all about. So it definitely, having my son made me grow up quite fast, and just being able to, toggle, like their dad, worked shift work. He was never home. So I had to, and then they were into sports, and then I was working a couple jobs, going to school. So there was all these different nuggets that I had to balance. And then I just kind of naturally was like, okay. And I like to reference my brain as like 12 tabs open.
Hmm.
And I just kind of know where they're all, I know what tabs need to be open, what needs to be closed, and what needs to be next, and all that sort of thing. And so it just came naturally. And then what ended up happening is that, so, trying to organize a family is a lot of work. And so I was organizing that. Then I was organizing my schooling. And then I was working, late doing weddings and all this kind of stuff. And then it ended up being, I just fell in love with it, like with just organizing organizing, and I ended up helping my brother and his wife now, with their wedding because he said, you're always organized. Can you just help us get organized because we don't know what we're doing?" And I was like,
Mhm.
"Sure, I'll do that." And then it would just ended up I just fell in love with it. And it's just kind of like now yeah, I do events planning for the real estate board. I've got a business, obviously, Framework Retreats, that I've just started that I'm passionate about. And yeah, I love it. I'm still organizing my oldest is 21, and I'm still organizing his life. So there you go.
That's actually a perfect segue for us to talk about framework retreats.
Mhm.
Tell us a bit more about what it is and how you came up with the idea, and I guess basically how it's designed to help women in real estate through their ecosystem in terms of thriving in business and in their personal and professional lives.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm super actually this has been like my heart is completely full with this framework retreats. About a year ago, I guess just before COVID, I started doing like just touching base with our realtors at our board, just asking how they were doing and that sort of thing. Just kind of finding out, you know, how they juggling and the market was so hot during COVID, which no one expected it to be. And I just found a common denominator that there was a lot of I shouldn't say a lot, sorry. There were women who were really trying to find and men too. And I think if I could do a one for men, I would love to do it as well, but I only have so many hats. But I think I just found this denominator of like working, 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 not having an off switch. And, if you don't put your phone down, you're going to lose that sale. And it's trying to balance, whether you're just married or you have a family and it's like you've got so many energy, so much energy to give to so many things and something's going to fall through the cracks. So
Mhm.
I found a common denominator that women specifically, were kind of at almost like a breaking point, like a burnout and not really knowing what to do. But real estate does give this illusion too, that it's all glitz and glamour, and you're making all the dollars and you're driving all these fancy cars, but people don't really see the behind the scenes and the work and the like. Just there's no off switch. So I reached out to an online business manager. Her name is Jessica from Project Love Co. And I'm kid you not, she was like my saving grace. Like we connected, and I was just saying, this is what my vision is. I'm an A to Z. I'm an A person and a Z person. In between, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I can see a vision, I can see it all mapped out, but all the little details and getting there, that's not my forte. So we were really good collaboration together. So we met about almost a year ago now. And I said to her, this is what I want to do. I want to be able to bring women in real estate. So not just realtors, it can be developers, it could be mortgage consultants, it could be, mortgage financial planners, sorry, interior designers, anyone that works directly with women in real estate. I want to be able to find this place where they can I hope this is okay to say, but leave the shit at their door. You can edit this
Mhm.
after if you want.
No, we won't.
Um, but they can just leave like whatever's going on in the world at the door and come in to almost like an oasis. So it's a place where they can focus on their minds to get them like refocus into what's important. It's a
Mhm.
place to kind of learn personal development skills to help them in their personal lives,
Mhm.
and then be able to find through workshops, professional side, to help balance. So be able to help them, like what would be easier for sales, what's easier for, tools to get organized and systems in place. And, maybe you need to delegate, maybe you need to hire a team or something like that, just to be able to find that. I know the word balance is a generic word, but it's whatever works for you, bringing women in to help you find your balance to make it easier for you to thrive in what you're doing.
Why do you think women have such a hard time setting boundaries? And you mentioned, not uh, missing out on a deal or never being able to say no. Like why do we wear so many hats? Why do we take that on?
Because we're givers.
Mhm.
And we want to make sure, like every, majority of women, we have that natural mama bear instinct, right? So we want to take care of everybody. We want to make sure that everybody else around us is doing well, and we don't take care of ourselves.
Mhm.
So regardless, unless I really want this to kind of change, and I'm trying to do a little bit, but it's always been a men's world. where, men, they go to work, they do, they go to work and then they come home and there's that almost like that tunnel vision a little bit where women in, even I'm talking about real estate right now. I think this is women and entrepreneurs in general, but let's keep it on topic for women in real estate. But you're trying to be successful. So you're trying to have your own career and do really well. But then you come home and you have your mom hat, you've got your wife hat, you've got the house hat, and taking care of all of that. And we have a hard time because that's who we are. We're just givers.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't take enough time to stop and focus on ourselves. And if we can't, like I've gone through my burnouts. I've gone through my low points with personally and professionally. And I just think like for me, relating back to my boys, I had to stop and take care of myself because I couldn't be a good mom if I wasn't taking care of myself. And it's not selfish. I had a long time struggle with being selfish and taking time for myself. I date myself once a week. I tell my boys I'm going out. I'm going out to have a coffee. I'm going out for a walk, or I'm going to have a drink, or I'm going to go to the spa, or whatever. Like I need to be able to take that time for me so I can recharge and then be a better, friend and mother and boss and whatever colleague. So
When and where is this first retreat happening, and what does that schedule look like?
I get so I get so excited. I'm not, and I mean, I wanted like I want to be able to share it so much, and I'm just not like a video person, so I get so excited. I'm just like I want everyone to come. So it's on February 2nd, and it's at the Pipe Shop in North Van. If you've never been to North Van, sorry, not North Van, the shipyards. It's like you have to. It's
It's an
amazing.
amazing space. Yeah.
And I've done a few weddings there before. I've been to the pipe shop for different events, and I just fell in love with it because it just has this blank canvas of like a spa feel. Like it's just got these
Hmm.
beautiful windows, it's got these exposed wooden beams, it's got like this creamy white backdrop, and I could just see the whole retreat being set up there. So it's a full day on February 2nd. And the reason why I did midweek is because I feel just knowing the real estate that I work for the board, is that Wednesday seems to be a good day. Mondays and Fridays, you don't do anything for realtors. Tuesdays and Thursdays are kind of iffy, but Wednesday's usually a pretty good day. So I figured we host our events on Wednesdays. I pick Wednesdays just because I know majority of the realtors are going to show up. So that's why it's during the week in case someone's wondering why it's during the week. So
I think that was wise.
Yeah, you know our schedule. What process did you go through to handpick the lineup of experts? Like how did you discover me and Tony and the rest of the expert panelists that are going to be coming on? Like what qualities or what kind of characteristics were you looking for in all these speakers?
so first, I don't want to go too like, fancy words and all this sort of thing, but I really believe in like connections. Like my big thing is a connection first. If I feel a good vibe, and it's not just in business, it's just in general. Like I get excited and I thrive off other people's energy. So
Hmm.
when I met the two of you, I think we met online a couple times last year. I was just like, I know these girls. I love them. Like it was just this easy flow of conversation. I respect that the both of you guys are working hard. You've got your realtors, but you're also doing this podcast for women. So that was no brainer. You guys were just amazing and welcoming and wanting to be a part of it. So I could go on and on about you guys too. Um, but everyone that I selected, they had to have the same vision for me as me, sorry, and what I'm wanting out of it. They have to be, which I should have said at the very beginning, the biggest thing for this retreat and what I'm wanting to get across is I want women to be real and vulnerable and intimate. Like I want them to feel like not it's okay to open up. I want to create
Hmm.
that safe space where it's like you don't have to go deep, 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 but let your guard down. Like it's okay to talk about things. And I think we kind of all wear that smile and say everything's fine. So when I was reaching out to the facilitators and the ones that are leading the yoga and the meditation and all that sort of thing, that's what it was about. It was like, I want you to be on the same page as my vision, which they all were. Second of all, you need to be able to be 100% supportive of women. and helping them, no negativity, no competition. And the other one was just having an open mind and being themselves, being vulnerable. If you can't be
Mhm.
vulnerable and interact, I didn't want that.
Cheryl, we're so excited for this event. Can you walk us through a little bit about how you designed the program for the day? Because I think it's so unprecedented in terms of what you're trying to combine.
Mhm.
So this is not hundreds of people to be invited. Like it's for me personally, I only wanted 25. Um, and I and then we'll kind of gauge it as it goes along. But my big thing was I wanted to create, like I've said before, a place where you feel like you can just let your guard down and be vulnerable. So I've been the shy person in the back of the room where I want to say something, but there's so many people that I don't say anything. And you don't have to
Mhm.
talk like you don't have to talk for hours on end, but if you have a question, you want to be able to feel like your voice is going to be heard. So when I was first starting, I was talking to Jessica, my online business manager, and I was like, she's like, how many people do you want? And I'm like, I could open it up to I mean, our board has 14,000 members. But I was like, then it loses that intimacy, that retreat feel of being together. So
Mhm.
yeah, the numbers are gonna be on the lower end. Well, I'm kind of gauging, I'm going back and forth, so I'm not gonna say an exact number yet because we'll see. Anyway, but when I was starting it, I didn't want it to be an overnight, the first one, but I wanted it to be a full day of like kind of an impactful day. So when we started talking about it, I settled on kind of roughly kind of the intimacy and the vulnerability and the rawness. That's what I wanted to get out of women to be able to like I said before, leave the shit at the door, come in and just focus on them. But then I wanted to take it
Mhm.
another step and go, I want that white glove experience. I don't want you to do anything but just be there and enjoy the moment. So how I've designed it, there's gonna be 3 separate stages. So there's the welcome center when you first like the welcome area when you first come in. So there's gonna be lots of, plants and candles and lounge furniture, and we'll have tables set up for like registration and greeters and things like that. And then we have a concierge kind of guest services where you can, hang up your jackets and put your if you bring bags, put them away, all that sort of thing. And then the lounge area where I'm in the detail is it's kind of where the breakfast and the lunch and the wellness and the snack bar. So we're gonna have catered. You're gonna have reserved seating. So there's gonna be tons of tables, like lounge, high tops, low tops, all kinds of different seating. So however you feel comfortable, you can grab a table. But it's gonna be reserved for either if you've come by yourself, there'll be a kind of like a harvest table. You can kind of meet other women. If you've come in a twos or fours, whatever, there's gonna be different size tables set up for those women who are coming with their friends. But I want you to be able to sit down and just be catered to. So breakfast is going to be catered to you, and it's going to be. I'm not going to say who the catering company is yet because I want to leave some things for like a surprise. But that white glove experience is basically what I'm trying to say for the breakfast. And then the third section is kind of where the wellness and the workshops will take place. So we're doing breath work in the morning, and it's not gonna go to the level like I do breath work, but it's not gonna be that intimate, like that really deep. It's gonna kind of be on the surface, but be able to like open your mind. Because I feel if you kind of come in raw and cold, you're not going to be able to like really experience the whole day. So let's get yourselves relaxed, kind of get your mind open, walk you through the whole breath work. And then we're going to go into some personal development workshops, which is going to be really good. And I'm not doing a stage. I don't like the fact to have, speakers up kind of high and the guests down below. I don't like that. It's a disconnection. So I want them to be able to be sitting in with all the women and being able to like ask questions, and then the women to be able to talk about the topics and things like that. So that really interactive piece is really important to me. We're going to do a catered lunch. It's going to be family style. We're going to do yoga. We're going to do professional development workshops. We're going to have our fireside panel, which the two of you are going to be moderating. So we've got Allie and Amy and Devin and Sidra and Carly. They're going to be talking about their experiences and where they've come from, and kind of fail points as well as successes, so women can relate and ask them questions. We're going to do meditation at the end. I'm kind of doing a fast 'cause I'm talking a little too much. I'm sorry.
No, no. This is the first time Tony and I are hearing about it, so
Okay,
we're
good.
really excited. Yeah.
So, and then meditation at the end. So, how I kind of was framing it is that I want to be able to start the day with a nice, healthy breakfast, get your mind
Mhm.
focused so you're ready for the rest of the day, so you can kind of, set the tone for the rest of the day. We're gonna do some workshops. We're gonna have there's gonna be a couple breaks in between. And the biggest thing before I go any further is that there's no phones. So it's going
Mm.
out in the email before the event. You can have your phones at breakfast and have your phones at lunch and during the breaks, but during the actual workshops and the fireside panel discussion, no phones. It's not that type of like look at me selfie hashtags and all this kind of thing. It's a moment. It's a place for just you to really focus on yourself and put that
Mhm.
away because it's so easy to be distracted with your phones and business calls and deals and all that sort of thing, and it can wait.
Mhm.
um, so
Being able to absorb all that energy that's in that room.
So there's like I said, open up your mind with the breath work. We're going to do the personal development workshop. We'll have the catered lunch. We've got the fireside panel discussion. We've got the professional development workshops. We will have yoga after lunch, and then we're going to wrap it with meditation. So how I framed it was, I want to be able to open your minds with breath work, be able to kind of have midday, kind of like a, slow movement, yoga, kind of stretch, kind of get yourselves back, the blood flowing and that sort of thing. And then we'll end with like a meditation, kind of just and ground ourselves again, right? So,
Mhm.
and throughout the whole event, we're going to have DJ free. So people kind of wonder like, why do you have a
Nice.
DJ? I love DJs. And it's not going to be like rocking, we're gonna all dance hip hop and that sort of thing. It's just she's gonna be playing. I want live music, and she's got it. She's setting the tone. We're working on a playlist, so she's gonna have music kind of throughout the whole event, which is really nice. And then at the very end of the retreat, which I'm super excited about, is the social hour. So I don't like to use the word networking. The social hour, we have 10 vendors that will be set up kind of throughout the perimeter of the building. And I've handpicked them because I really love supporting women in business, like local women in business. And I think sometimes it's hard to get your brand out there in such a competitive market. So I wanted to bring women in that I thought would be relatable to women in real estate or be able to kind of vice versa they meet each other. And so there's going to be a couple hours of shopping. We're going to have past canapes. We're going to have a wellness bar set up for mock cocktails. DJ Pre is going to be there playing music, and it's a chance for women that are there that don't know each other to socialize and just be able to kind of get to know each other.
To mingle. I immediately jumped at this opportunity when you shared this idea with us. And I may have mentioned this when we were chatting initially was I had the same idea a few years ago, pre-COVID. And my idea, Miranda and I, we actually met up with a company that does event planning, but way more corporate level. And it didn't it didn't follow through for a couple of reasons. I think, in my opinion, I was pitching to a couple of males, and that the connection wasn't there, and I don't think they were as excited as I was. Secondly, COVID happened, and so no events were happening, and so I I think this is when Tony and I started the podcast was during, so I pivoted this idea of like being on stage. I even signed up for courses on how to speak on stage and how to storytell, which I haven't really opened up any of the the online classes, but the podcast has really, pushed me to being able to open up and speak candidly and openly to Tony and the audience. And thirdly, I definitely felt like there was a need for it because I knew that Toronto have all these like venues and real estate conferences for women, but I've never seen one for Vancouver. And I felt like my idea was to have a board of directors and a foundation. So the framework was really complicated, and the way you've set it up, adding in the ecosystem, adding in the spirituality and the meditation form of it, I was, so on board with this idea, because it just takes it to a whole new level of opening up the mindset, and opening up a different, like creating a lot of different connections with the spirituality, like the community, in that community. Because I meditate and I do a lot of yoga, but I'm not connected with that community at all. So you've married the two together, which is fantastic, because it's something that we really do need in our life to be able to just stay grounded in our business.
Yeah. Thank you.
So yeah, it's a great idea.
It's so funny because so Jenny had this idea. Cheryl, you were able to marry these two elements together, bringing more of the spiritual side in, more of the wellness. And I guess we're all three aligned very well, because pre-COVID as well, before around the time Jenny and I started the podcast, I was looking at something else that I shared with you guys too, which was Momaholic Workaholic. But it didn't have as many of the spiritual elements that Cheryl has intertwined into this amazing event. However, it did have the fireside panel, which was so amazing, and the ability to, I guess, for women from all different areas to interact, share their experiences, and also see themselves in a way that maybe they hadn't seen before through people's experiences and relatability. So it's so amazing. I'm so excited for this event. And thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of it.
Yeah, thank you, Cheryl.
Absolutely. I really appreciate your support.
Yeah, it's obviously a very natural progression to focus on women in real estate, because you're helping the real estate board, and you're they're not involved, but they're kind of inspiring you to have this retreat. So this retreat can actually be in any industry. Like, you could be focusing on any women entrepreneurs or in any industry. So do you feel like once you kind of ride over this first retreat, you're going to be exploring other industries?
It's funny you say that, because I guess I mean, I can kind of put it out there a little bit too, but I'm actually heading over to Bowen Island tomorrow to do a site visit at Nectar Yoga, because what I would like to do is I would like to do four, and that's kind of my thing for the framework retreats for the women in real estate industry or ecosystem. So I like to set, I have four in the works for next year, different topics on, of course, but I would like to do two other ones for women entrepreneurs in general. So I'm looking at Bowen Island right now to do that. So yes, I think I've had a few women, say, I'm not in the real estate industry, but I would love to do something that's really needed in our community. And I know that, and I completely understand. I just felt this, like, my heart was being kind of pulled in the direction of women in real estate and working for the real estate board. I kind of felt that connection. So I thought if I start somewhere, then I can branch off. And I would love to do one for, mamas and things like that too. Like, the sky's the limit for me. I love what I do. My 5 year, my 2 year plan is to go, across Canada, hopefully, and do something like this across Canada. And then my 5 years is to hold a conference for women. And not just in real estate, but for, like, it could be in real estate. We could do a small one, but women entrepreneurs in general, because there's not a lot out in the West Coast, like you mentioned. There's a lot back east, but there's not very much out here in BC, and I want to be able to do it. So yeah.
What parts of your personal journey do you think have inspired you the most to make such an impact in a meaningful way with all of these women that you're going to be touching through your
I guess
retreat?
for me, it was, I never had support, and I didn't get support until later on in my life, and it was a game changer. Like, just finding women that understood what I was going through, not only in my personal life, but, like, even what I was wanting to do. I've always wanted to work. I love working. I don't think I'd ever stop working. But I didn't have anyone. I didn't have any mentors. Um, I didn't have anyone in my corner supporting me. It was all me. And so I know how tough it was trying to succeed on my own. But then when I found, a few individual women that came alongside and really kind of like were my cheerleaders, I was a game changer. And I was like, we need to do this. Like I grew up and I'm not gonna say how old I am, but I remember being in high school and elementary school, and it was all about, like the cattiness and, picking on each other and putting each other down and the jealousy and just to see women now being able to like, hey, you're beautiful and really mean it. Like coming together like that, you can do so much more when you have like people around you supporting you. So yeah, and I don't know, I love helping people. I don't know if that sounds cheesy, but I do. I love my heart is full when I'm able to help other people.
So, is there still a lot you need to work out the kinks and on part of the program,
Nope,
or
we are
are
ready
you
to go.
still you're ready to go? You're asking for sponsors
Sponsors
still, or and
yeah, and
vendors?
and
Yeah.
just if you're feeling kind of like, oh, should I go? Should I not go? I know, and the other thing too, it's not a knock on realtors because I love you all, but it's last minute. I know a lot of realtors are last minute, and it's going to close soon for tickets. So I haven't put the date out yet, but I encourage if you're kind of on the fence, like come and experience it because it's going to be a time for like just to take time for yourself. It's going to be, a pampered, like, you're really going to
Mm-hmm.
enjoy, and the benefits outweigh kind of the, ho hum kind of thing. Like you don't get a chance to do this. I'm sure there's other things that you could be doing, but when do you ever really take a full day and really focus on yourself, right? And I think to kind of even recharge yourself, like you go and then it's like, okay, let's have one day where I can just put my stuff away, go with my girlfriends or meet other women in the same industry, like-minded women, and just enjoy a day of pampering.
Someone who's listening, go ahead. Someone who's listening, how do they buy the tickets?
You go on on the our Instagram page, so Frameworks Retreats, you can click on the link in our bio and takes you right to the registration page, or you can go on our website, which is www.frameworkretreats.com, and go to events, and you'll see the February 2nd event. Click on there, gives you all the speakers infos, it gives you the kind of a itinerary of the day, and then there's a big registration button there. So click on that, and away you go. And then I can tell you now, the swag bag, it's like, yeah, it's like, I'm gonna put on the Santa hat in February and hand out swag bags.
How much are the
They're
tickets?
5.97. So yeah, and it's a full day. Like it starts at 8 o'clock in the morning and ends at 8, I would say 8 or 9 at night. So it's a full day. You're getting complete pampered, catered food, the mocktails, everything that's I'm putting together for the event. You don't have to, like, you're not coming in and then paying an additional and anything else. So you're really getting a lot of good value. And the women who are facilitating are experts in their fields. Like I said, the catering, you're having a wellness bar, a healthy snack bar, where you're getting yoga, you're getting meditation, you're getting breath work, social time. So there's a lot of components that, yeah, and it's a good value.
I totally agree with the venue. I love hanging out there on Friday
Yeah,
nights at the shipyards when they have the Friday night market. It is so
yeah,
cute in
it
there.
is. It's a beautiful space, and it's just you can't really. I'm not trying to. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but you can't really put a price on taking care of yourself, really. Do you know what I mean? Like you look at the dollar and it's like, oh, okay, maybe it is a little high for a lot of people, but look at the value that you're getting out of it. You're taking time for yourself, which is to me, it's a no-brainer, right? But
Priceless.
Well, Cheryl, we're so excited for the event
Hmm.
and working on it with you. Yes. Do you happen, we know that you have to plan and you have a full workday ahead of you as well. Are you available to do a quick 5 rapid fire question? We normally do this with our guests just for fun. Just for fun.
sure.
Okay, so first question is, would you rather live in a place with 4 seasons or 1 season all year round? And if 1 season,
Four
which
seasons.
season would it be?
I would say fall.
What's your family's most unique tradition over any holiday or season?
Tradition. Hmm. Good question. I used to be like very quick at what do we do? What do we do? Well, I know for my boys and I, what we do on I would say Christmas Eve is kind of like my boys, even though they're older, and they're probably embarrassed that I'm saying this. They're still little kids at heart. So on Christmas Eve, we go in the car and we go and we find all our neighborhoods and we map it out and we go grab hot chocolates from Starbucks and we go walk Christmas lights. And then we come home and we watch every single movie that we possibly can in a short period of time. So we've got like, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. We've got what's the other one? And then we play Pictionary, and so it's kind of like we try, and we've got a whole bunch of appies, and it's just something that I started doing when I split from their dad, and it's just been our own little tradition that we do, and every year, like even starting in like September, the boys get excited as to when we're going to start planning like our night for Christmas Eve, and that's kind of our little thing. But the Christmas lights for sure. We go to all over like the Lower Mainland in the car and we just take our time and that's really meaningful to them and it's meaningful to me.
Does your oldest still live
Yes,
with
he
you?
It's
does.
Or is,
amazing.
is he on his own?
No, he's
Okay.
going to school full time and he works full time. So yeah, he'll be
Mhm.
there until he's probably 40.
Next question. Who or what is your biggest inspiration in your life today?
My biggest inspiration,
Mhm.
I would say my grandma. She is turning 103. And she's a little spitfire and ever since I was little she was just a go-getter and she had we've my grandma's got five kids and she worked hard and she really instilled that work ethic and she was always encouraging. She always would send me like, back in the day, like she would write notes, like write letters, and she'd always write letters every couple of months to me, just encouraging me. And she's just a very positive. She was a wonderful mother. She's a fantastic grandmother, and she always has some word of encouragement, whether I was 5 years old, 15, like whenever she could get a hold of me, she always was having some sort of like an encouragement, just like even a one liner. So, and she learned how to FaceTime. She's 102, almost 103, and she's chatting away like so yeah, she's my inspiration.
That sounds like a good granny. If you can give one piece of advice to your 18-year-old self, what would it be?
Don't give up. Like just ignore, the people that tell you that you can't do it. I don't know if it's just because I'm an Irish newfie, but when someone says no to me, I'm like, okay. And I just continue going on. So I think just being positive and keeping a positive mindset that there's nothing that you can't do. And I know that's very cliche, but it is 100% true. Like if you put your mind to it and you've got a good support system, there's nothing that you can't do. And let people tell you that you can't.
And one last question. What is one movie you can watch over and over again?
Dirty Dancing.
Oh,
That dates me. That dates me.
no. I think even the millennials would love watching that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yes, nobody puts baby
the
in the corner.
original.
That one.
Original. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Cheryl, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to talk about framework retreats. We're really excited to be joining you on this. And I guess we better get going on our scripts, Tony. And
Yes, we're
yeah,
meeting in January, you guys. So
yeah.
yeah.
I need more prep time than that.
Yeah.
Tony knows that I need lots of prep time.
She'll
in
be
advance.
fine. I have to say this for all of our podcast listeners, but mostly for Jenny. You don't need
No.
more time.
More time.
You've already grown
Overthink.
so much. You know exactly
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's fine. We're good.
I'm a firm believer, like if I find too, if I have too much time, then I overthink. And I like to work like on the spot. I find that that's how I thrive is if I'm put on the spot, it just comes naturally versus having all these prep notes. Like I wrote out a few things today, but I haven't even looked. So
You sound so we honestly are way
yeah,
too similar.
yeah,
Too
just on the
similar.
fly.
I think Jenny hates it when
Yeah.
I have two
Yeah.
bullet points.
And the planner, I'm
That's
a
it.
planner. That's my day. Like that's my job is being a planner. My personal life, no. I go on the fly.
It's a good balance, actually.
It is.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so just for listeners again, it's frameworkretreats.com, and on Instagram is also Framework Retreats.
Yes.
And there's, like you said, there's limited number of spots, so they must sign up right away before the prices go up.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Cheryl.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your time, and
Thanks, Cheryl.
talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Mwah.
Thanks for joining us.